Shalom.
Hi, Shalom.
Welcome back to the Fig Tree Generation. If you saw our last video of the calendar, congratulations, because you've come back and you're able to hear a matter without speaking upon it first or getting angry. You know, I know a lot of people, calendars are really divisive sometimes. Although I really haven't experienced it as much as I'm saying. I mean, I don't.
No, I've had people reaching out to me personally, encouraged by it.
Yeah.
Appreciated it. You know, it's not your normal calendar video that you're going to find. So, you know, if you haven't seen it, you're just doing the Daniel study with us and, you know, you are curious about the calendar and what to do this year and celebrating.
Yeah, just our thoughts.
The fall feast, or just curious about, you know, Jim and Deborah's thoughts. Go over there and watch it.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, so we're back, part 3 for Daniel 7.
Yeah, we're gonna finish it today. Yeah. At least that's the plan.
Yeah.
That's what I'd like to do.
Yes.
Because I'd love to kind of move on
Jim,
past this, but
yeah. Well, I was gonna say something that Jim says pretty much every video, which I can appreciate his consistency for, is that our goal when we do these videos and when we get on here is to not only be an encouragement for brothers and sisters, but anyone new to the narrow path or curious about the narrow path. But our desire is to truly be a light for others and to glorify our Father and the Shemaims. That is truly our goal on here, and that's our desire to be on here as long as we are doing that and glorifying Him. And it was interesting because I'm rereading the Gospel of Kaledi. You guys know this is a favorite lost gospel of ours that we love dearly, and I just happened to read the verse that parallels with Matthew 5:16, where Yahushua is talking about letting your light shine before men. And I just wanted to start with that verse, if I could.
Yeah.
So I'm going to read 17 and 18. It's, if you're reading from the book, it's chapter 9. Verse 17 says, I am your light, but you are the light of the world. Therefore, build a strong city set on a hill, for a light shining from a hilltop cannot be hidden. I have given you the light so it may be put to use. For men do not put a lighted candle under a grain basket, but in a candlestick where it can light up the room. Let your lights shine before men so they can see the path clearly. Join your lights together so they can combine to form an unquenchable flame. For while a candle is easily snuffed out, it takes many men to subdue a forest fire. And that resonated with me because...
So much better than just what you read in the Gospels. I mean, I love the Gospel accounts, but everything that Kaledi... like all the parables, they're just so much more rich.
It's just like when, you know, Yahushua says in here too that he came to, does he say magnify the Torah in the gospel too?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, he doesn't. No, he's quoting Isaiah though.
Yeah, thank you. He's quoting Isaiah, but he basically, in the same Gospel of Kaledi, he says, I come not to abolish the Torah or to change the teachings, but to complete them adding any necessary clarification to the understanding of men. And that's what I feel like he does in the Gospel of Kaledi. He adds so much clarification, and he truly magnifies the Torah in his words and his actions with the disciples and others. And so when I read this is like, I don't know, it hit me so hard because of our last video, and I read a passage from the Book of the Order of the Ancients when we're discussing matters such as prophecy or MK or calendar or what have you, like, that we're called to walk blamelessly before each other as we do so. And so when I read this, it's, you know, let's join our lights together. Let's not hide them under a bushel, but let's also not just be, you know, in a silo over here and over there. Like, let's truly join forces, because we are on the same team. We're brothers and sisters in Yahushua, and it's an unquenchable flame when we do. And so it felt like a good time to share.
Well, and to those of y'all who need definition with light, you know, light is Proverbs 6:23. The commandment is a lamp, and the Torah is light, the everlasting Torah of the Father. It's been around since the very beginning, probably before man, and was re-given to man many times, Mount Sinai being one of them. And then even when Messiah came, re-teaching of the Torah and teaching the you know, places where the men had failed. And it's forever. It's incredible. And we talk about the Torah all the time on this channel. Because I know we have some probably Millennial Kingdom followers who love the Millennial Kingdom, and maybe you're not Torah observant. You need to be, because you probably already are and you don't even know it. It comes natural to Gentiles, to atheists, to everybody to keep the Torah, parts of it. It also comes natural to all of us to do away with parts of it. But when we look at it, there's not one jot or tittle done away with. It's all perfect and holy. They're the set apart ways of our Father. Something, and I got to just talk about this just real quick before we get into this, because we are going to talk about saints today in Daniel 7. You read that just now, which is amazing because it talks about a city set on a hill, building a city set on a hill made of light. This millennial kingdom research has just been blown wide open in the last week. Not by me, by some other YouTubers that posted something, but I'm just blown away. I am. I don't want to talk about it too much because I've since ordered a bunch of books, and I've got like 200 other books on my list. So
to go study out.
Yeah.
They're not considered scriptural texts, though, right?
No. Well, I wouldn't consider them scripture. I mean, let's just be honest. I mean, Paul doesn't even consider the New Testament scripture. So let's just be honest when we're calling things scripture or not. That's a hard term to identify.
But I just meant in the sense of the books you ordered, they're more so historical accounts,
yes.
MK accounts.
Yes.
Kind of like a John Mandeville, but they're saints.
Yeah, like John Mandeville, Marco Polo. I've talked about Batuta as well, but these are so many more. It's just been, just
the door's been blown.
Mind-blowing amount of information that is just like gives so much credence to the fact that millennial kingdom happened. And the people during the Middle Ages, they all knew it. Everyone knew it. And after the Renaissance, that rebirth is the rebirth of Hasatan, and everything then was to hide it, to get rid of it. And we are waking up in this, whether or not we're in the short season or not. I'm beginning to question that. I think I've said this before. We just have to talk about it. We have to get on here and talk about that. The Gog Magog War, I believe, has already happened. The short season could be over, actually. But I don't want to get us off on that.
Maybe we're at the tail end.
We could be still in it. We could still be in. There's a reason I'm saying that. That's not about this video. It's not about that. Yeah. But I'm just saying this stuff has just been. It's blowing my mind. But millennial kingdom for me has been. I've been constantly saying, I'm about 90% sure it happened, 95% sure. This has really pushed me into the 99 percentile because I just can't believe. I can't. It really has.
I know.
And I don't want to say always there's room for error. I don't care. If tomorrow Yeshua shows up in the sky and says I'm ready to begin my kingdom, that's fine. Yeah. I would love that. I would love to be wrong. I don't care. But I'm beginning to see that this thing, you can call it preterism, you can call it just post-millennialism, whatever you believe. If you believe the millennial kingdoms happen, this idea is actually part of the gospel of the kingdom.
The good news.
Yes, the good news. And the good news has been hidden because everyone's still waiting. Most Christians are still waiting for that time because they've been lied to. And I'm beginning to see that the lie is so deep. And that's why it was given kind of a later point in time. I think we had to be woken up to 9/11, to the moon landing, then to flat earth, and then to the Torah, and then I'll give you millennial kingdom. That's how it happened for me. I know a lot of y'all are the same way, but it's just like my mind is just blown. I want to talk about more, but I know that I need to sit on it, and I know I have ordered some books so I can test it out, and because there's just so much information.
Yeah.
Literally, there's probably a few hundred books, but I think by the end of a couple months it'll be thousands.
And I think what you also learned, correct me if I'm wrong, is that a lot of these books have been held by the Vatican or have been held onto or concealed or hidden or what have you, right?
Sure, yeah. I mean, it's the same things a lot of us have theorized that we always talk about the Vatican vault. We said it before on this channel.
Yeah.
Like, man, I wish we could get in that Vatican vault. It turns out that a lot of people do get to go in there and they come out writing books about it and talking about what they read. Now, of course, we have to trust what they're saying, but if they're working for Hasatan, I would think you would want to hide the kingdom. That would be your biggest goal. It would be fruitless for Satan to try to make everyone believe that the kingdom did happen. I don't understand why that would be.
Counterproductive.
Yeah, because if we woke up, I mean, I'm waking up now. I'm just, even though I've known these things, I'm like, right now, I'm like, my mind, this whole week, I haven't even been able to function normally.
You've been up a
Because,
lot of late nights.
yes, I've been studying all night and just obsessed because I'm starting to realize, wow,
And it happened.
it really happened. And that means that we are involved in such a conspiracy and such a huge lie that Yeshua's here. Like he's here and his saints are here and we're being lied to about it. So let's start reading.
Yeah,
because we're going to read about the saints and it's amazing. I didn't mean to throw that in there. I hope that
it's good.
I hope everyone would just, when you are given information, you just slow down, because I've had to slow myself down. I really want to just tell everyone, but I can't. I've got to because it's not someone else found it. And they were able to show it to me, and then many other people. But I just think it's crazy. So
Yeah.
but I need to sit on it and test it out.
Absolutely. All right. So
We're starting verse 13. This is the same chapter, but it seems like it's like a vision. It's almost like he's going back on himself. Like he had this vision of the 10 kings, or the 4 beasts and the 10 kings of the 4th beast. And it appears that there could even be 14, because there's an extra one and he subdues 3 of the others. Or it could be just 11, or it could be just 10 altogether. Okay, so there's a lot of variations here, and we read a lot of extra biblical texts last week that were kind of like, maybe it's different ones. But I think verse 13, he's just going back over the past vision that he had, in my opinion.
I was looking in the night visions and saw one like the son of Enosh coming with the clouds of the heavens. And he came to the Ancient of Days, and they brought him near before him. And to him was given rulership and preciousness and a reign, that all peoples, nations, and languages should serve him. His rule is an everlasting rule, which shall not pass away, and his reign that which shall not be destroyed.
Okay, so this verse,
Me to read it.
we say this all the time. I mean, I don't know how many times you were counting them, but I think we've counted that one.
7 or 8 now.
7 or 8 times throughout Daniel.
Yeah.
That the kingdom is forever. Okay, we are not on this channel preaching that the kingdom has been done and it's over. Okay, we've never said that. Okay, just to clear up the air right there, just clarify. Kingdom's forever. I believe it's actually always been. We have references to it in the writings of Abraham, with the city of Shem, the city of Enoch, which is now the city of Messiah.
Yeah.
The place where the righteous go, the saints get to go. By the way, if you want to be a saint, if you want to be inducted into the Hall of Fame of sainthood, there's a requirement. 2 requirements, actually. You have to have the testimony of Messiah. A lot of y'all have that. That's amazing. Testimony. You have the testimony. You speak of Messiah. It's the prophecy of Yeshua. It's the spirit of prophecy. Yeah, the testimony.
The Revelation speaks of. Yeah.
Where is that at? We'll find it later.
Well, did you want me to read Matthew?
No, yeah, you can read Matthew. We'll find that later. But the testimony of Yeshua is the spirit of prophecy. Okay, so it's the same testimony that was given to the prophets, to Moses, to all of them. Okay, you have to have that. Okay. But you also have to have one other. It's the keeping the commandments of Elohim. Okay, we are His workmanship, Yeshua Messiah workmanship, ordained to keep the commandments that were given by Elohim. Okay.
Let me just read it for anybody that's 2 things. Revelation 14:12. You've said it before. It's all throughout. Here's the endurance of the set apart ones, the saints, the Kodashim. Here are those guarding the commands of Elohim and the belief of Yahusha. Then flip over to Revelation 18:10, and I fell at his feet to worship him. But he said to me, see, do not do it. I am your fellow servant and of your brothers who possess the witness of Yahusha. Worship Elohim. For the witness of Yahusha is the spirit of prophecy.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay, so there's that. Did you want me to read Matthew 26:64 that talks about the son of Adam?
Oh, you can. Sure.
So this just, I think, ties into to Yahusha, what you have said, that the kingdom is forever. Yahusha said to him, you have said it, and it's quoting Daniel 7:13. Besides, I say to you, from now on you shall see the son of Adam sitting at the right hand of the power and commanding on the clouds of the heaven. So kingdom started a long time ago.
Yeah.
His reign started a long time ago.
Yeah, I mean, as soon as he sat down at the right hand of the Father, he was in control. All authority was given unto him, and he said, sit on my right hand while I make all your enemies your footstool. the last enemy to be destroyed is death. So he's ruling right now, getting all his enemies under his footstool. Well, Yahweh is placing them under Yeshua's footstool. Death is still yet to be destroyed. So when death is destroyed, Yeshua delivers the kingdom. This is in, I think it's 1 Corinthians 15. But Yeshua delivers the kingdom back up to Yahweh, his Father. So when he finally, defeats, and Yah's merciful. Yah's so merciful. He desires all to come to repentance. That's why we're still here 2,000 years later. The kingdom's still going on. He's still putting everything under Yeshua's feet. And one day it's going to be it. It'll be like, I'm done with you people. I gave you the millennial kingdom. You had rest. You ruined it. And now you're enjoying Satan's short season. I'm going to have to burn everybody with fire, unfortunately. Hopefully, that's
the quick way of...
Yeah, that's how it's going to happen. I mean, hopefully, Yahweh will be merciful to people who do desire his ways. That's my hope for myself, is to hope for his mercy. But anyways, so we can keep going.
Keep going, yep. As for me, Daniel, verse 15, as for me, Daniel, my spirit was pierced within my body, and the visions of my head alarmed me. I drew near to one of those who stood by and asked him the certainty of all this. And he spoke to me and made known to me the interpretation of the matters. These great beasts, which are four sovereigns which rise up from the earth. Then the set apart ones of the Most High shall receive the reign and possess the reign forever, even forever and ever.
Wow. I mean, that's incredible. The saints are going to possess the kingdom. I've said this before. If this is still yet to come, I do not want to possess the ruined Walmarts or McDonald's or the nuclear fallout zones all across the world. I don't want to possess that. And I'm joking because obviously if it's still to come, Yahuwah's going to make it perfect.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
but these kingdoms that they possessed, they didn't just possess like things that they didn't want. They actually got the whole kingdom. There are many places where it's in Obadiah 1:17, Amos 9. Yeah, it talks about possessing the wastelands of Edom. They were able to possess where the Edomites were, which we believe is Rome. These were amazing castles and beautiful cathedrals and palaces and things like that they got to go in and possess, and their land. Land was beautiful back then. I mean, you see some of the old maps. I mean, there was greenery everywhere. Even in what we know now as Antarctica, which is just a bunch of just different continents, but they were all green. There was greenery in the Middle East. It's my belief that they didn't become, all deserts around there until post-millennial reign. Which is just fulfillment of Zechariah 14. But anyways, I think this is amazing because they got to possess all of these places.
Okay.
So this is also Jeremiah 25, 18 through 26. It lists a whole group of nations that are going to be destroyed. We also I've mentioned it so many times, the second Baruch, I think 72, where it talks about everyone who's had their hand in Israel will be destroyed. All these lands are destroyed right now. Every single one of them. All the ones in Jeremiah 25, completely destroyed. They're in ruins today.
Yeah.
And I say this all the time, but they're still digging up ruins from Rome all the time. There's articles, if you just pay attention to it. Well, I'm not even paying attention to it. I think it's recommended to me by Google or something. They send me articles. But there's articles all the time of Rome being dug up out of the ground. Same thing with ruins in Greece. All over the world. Why are these places underground? They're completely underground. I mean, 15 feet underground, and a lot of times they're charred. They've been burnt by fire. They've been utterly destroyed. And there was a supernatural event that we would call the Day of Yahweh, and I believe it happened here. And I believe this is right before the saints got to take over the kingdom. In Enoch 93, we have after the sanctuary is destroyed, there is an age of a perverse generation to come afterwards. So that perverse generation went out after the saints to kill them. Anyone who believed in Messiah, anyone who practiced the Jews' religion was killed, murdered, burned, boiled alive, all kinds of horrible things. And these became the ones who got to take part in the first resurrection. Probably after 536 AD, when the sun was darkened for a year and a half. the sun and moon darkened for a year and a half, the whole world thought it was going to die. There was not many men left. So anyways, after that point, I mean, this is when the saints got to actually take over these kingdoms because there wasn't anybody to rule them. They went around and ruled the world. Anyways.
Okay. Verse 19, then I desired for certainty concerning the fourth beast, which was different from all the others, very fearsome, with its teeth of iron and its nails of bronze, which devoured, crushed, and trampled down the rest with its feet. And concerning the 10 horns that were on its head, and of the other horn that came up, before which 3 fell, this horn which had eyes and a mouth which spoke great words, whose appearance was greater than his fellows.
Real quick, I think we determined this last week, and we believe, it's not just us, I think this is probably pretty common, that this fourth beast is Rome, the 10 kings being the 10 Caesars, the 10 horns, with the 10 Caesars, and it just depends how you read it, but I do think this horn that it's talking about is greater than all the others was Nero. I believe he was the lawless one, and Ascension of Isaiah lets you know that. We talked about this earlier, but just reiterating it, that we do believe he is the lawless one, at least the first Antichrist. Well, there are many Antichrists, but he's like the first big Antichrist. There is an opportunity later on maybe for Hadrian to be it. There are some conflicting stories about Hadrian that kind of put him in the same kind of idea of committing the abomination of desolation.
But Nero sort of checks all the boxes.
He does check all the boxes, and I don't actually believe he killed himself until probably much later. I do believe he might have even been around for the temple being destroyed, even though official history would say I think he died in 69 AD, before the temple was destroyed, but I think he was there. We have this common practice. I mean, when we're talking about, we're not even talking about the abomination of desolation, but this is the same bad dude that committed it. Committed the abomination of desolation, which stopped the thing that was constant, which would have been the sacrifice or the Sabbath, everything. They destroyed the temple. They also committed what's called the, where did I have it written down at?
I wish you could see his notes.
Yeah, it's really
in
bad.
your Bible.
I can't even read it myself.
I could help you, but I can't.
Well, I don't know where I wrote it. It's called the Suvet Aurelia, I think is what it's called. Suvet Aurelia? Suvet Aurelia. It's also referred to in Isaiah 66:3. Suvet Aurelia is just a common Roman practice of when they would take over a temple or take over a nation, they would sacrifice a lamb, an ox, and a pig. So they would do the abomination of desolation that's spoken of by Daniel the prophet in Daniel 11. We'll get there. That's actually referring to Antiochus Epiphanes in 2nd Maccabees. We'll talk more about that when we get there. But this is one of the abominations of desolation. So I do believe we're talking about the exact same guy who did this. I believe, I think it's actually a historical account of Titus doing this at the temple after he destroyed it. But I'm kind of thinking that, it says he subdues 3 of the kings. I'm kind of thinking that Nero was the one who subdued 3 of the kings. It could be the 3 kings after him, but I'm not sure. I want to read something real quick.
Yeah.
This is from the Apocalypse of Zerubbabel. If you know anything about Zerubbabel, he's mentioned in, I think, Zechariah.
Does that sound right? The hands of Zerubbabel will have laid the foundation of the temple.
But yeah, he was mentioned in Zechariah, and he came out with Haggai. All these amazing people coming out of Babylon. They're excited. They're going to build the temple. And he also comes out with Joshua, Yahushua, who is like he's the high priest, but he's kind of like kind of a picture of Messiah, which is so interesting. I mean, that's a whole study in and of itself when he's like, sit down right here, high priest, and look, this is going to be my branch. That's going to come from you. But
yeah, he says that in Zechariah 3:8.
3:8, okay. But he does he talks about this Joshua high priest he was like, you're my chosen one.
Yeah.
Like, you're it, and I'm gonna do some amazing things here with you, and reestablish the temple.
Yeah, kind of a parallel with Yeshua.
Yeah.
It seems like.
But the branch that's coming, he's the king of righteousness, But so this is just the Apocalypse of Zerubbabel. And it says, the word is true. 420 years after the city and temple have been rebuilt, they will be destroyed a second time. So this is 70 AD when the temple was destroyed. 70 years after the building of the city of Rome after 70 kings corresponding to the 70 nations have ruled in it, when 10 kings have finished their reigns, the 10th king will come. He will destroy the sanctuary, stop the daily offering. The saintly people will be dispersed, and he will hand them over to destruction, to spoiling and panic. Wow. It says, many of them will perish due to their faithfulness to Torah, but others will abandon the Torah of Yahweh and worship Rome's idols. Oh my goodness. What has happened? Like, we're about to get into this in Daniel 7:25, but the people who believed in Messiah were righteous, lawful people, following the Torah of the Most High. And what happened? As soon as they stamped it out, as soon as the people were dispersed, a new teaching arose. This is in the Gospel of Kaledi, where it says, a new sprout will come from my teaching. Yahushua saying this. A sprout will come from my teaching, which will be lawless. It's a lawless doctrine. It's the same teaching that Rome teaches, you know. Do our feast days. They change times and seasons. We're about to read that. So that's why we do believe this fourth beast is Rome. And did you catch what it said? The 10th of the kings.
Yeah.
So 10 kings.
10
the 10th
kings.
one is the one who will destroy the temple
Yeah.
and commit the abomination desolation. So the 10 kings, the 10th Caesar is Titus. Titus destroyed the temple and committed the Suveterelia, which I was just talking about earlier. He commits the abomination of desolation. He makes the whole temple an abomination, which causes desolation. This is incredible. So that's why I do think this is who it's saying it is. This is not a future event. I know a lot of people would pull this out and say, look, this is this king, or this is, you know, I don't know, Trump or whatever, you know. But this is speaking of a specific time. And the longer we go through Daniel, you'll see that it really honestly can't be another way. That there could be other iterations of this. These things are written for our example. But this was speaking of a specific person at a specific time.
That's already happened.
That's actually already happened. Yeah. So, yeah, we'll keep going.
Okay. Verse 21. I was looking, and this horn was fighting against the set-apart ones, and was prevailing against them, until the Ancient of Days came, and right ruling was given to the set-apart ones of the Most High. And the time came, and the set-apart ones took possession of the reign.
Okay, real quick. So he's looking, and he's saying the set-apart ones are... what was it? I'm sorry. He made war with the saints and prevailed against them. Okay, when was this? I mean, let's just you know, read this literal. Did this happen, or is this still yet to come? Revelation 12 gives you a great timeline. You know, we know the Revelation 12 sign is something that woke me up in 2017, September 26, 2017 is when we saw the Revelation 12 sign in the sky. I was actually fasting on those days, and I didn't even know what fasting was. I didn't even know what I was fasting from. I was just now coming to the idea of Sabbath. I had no idea, but that specific sign and the eclipse kind of really woke me up into like, oh my goodness, I've been missing it the whole time. But this is where we get that Revelation 12 sign of the sun and moon in Virgo and the lion of the tribe of Judah above her head. Right. And it says, and she brought forth a man, verse 5, and she brought forth a man-child who was to rule all nations with a rod of iron. And her child was caught up into Elohim, into his throne. When did this happen? You know, 30 AD, 30-ish, whenever Yeshua was crucified and rose again and caught up into his throne. Yeah. The very next verse, and the woman fled into the wilderness, where she had the place prepared of Elohim. When did Yeshua tell people to flee? Matthew 24, he says, when you see the abomination of desolation spoken of by Daniel the prophet, get out of Judea. Everyone get out of here. A lot of the disciples left. A lot of the disciples left when Yeshua ascended. They went into multiple places all over the world preaching the gospel. Multiple nations, yes. But a lot of the core disciples, you know, the pillars that Paul talks about, like Peter, he stayed in Jerusalem for a long time. They eventually did leave, but they stayed in Jerusalem for a long time. And as they began to say, okay, this abomination's about to happen, they fled. They got out of Judea. That's what it says. The woman fled into the wilderness. It was the dispersion that happened. Where all the holy people were dispersed. We just read that in the Apocalypse of Zerubbabel, okay? And so this woman fled into the wilderness where she had the place prepared of Elohim that they should feed her there 1,203 days. we don't need to get into that,
No,
but I
yeah.
do believe that's 1,260 years. I believe she was fed at the North Pole. Okay, but we don't need to talk about that. Or at
Yet,
Arzareth,
or
Arzareth, which is in 2nd Esdras 14, which is Upper Russia. Okay, that would be the 10 tribes are there. I do believe these people, though, that fled, the woman, the virgin woman, the one that was keeping herself pure, which was the followers of Messiah, the ones who actually did keep the commandments of Elohim. I think they got to go on and become saints. And there was war in heaven. Michael and his angels fought against the dragon fought and his angels. There is no 2,000-year gap here. Okay, we talk about the woman fled, but then there was a war. So all this happened after Messiah, is crucified, resurrected, and in 70 AD, the final dispersion, the woman goes away where she's going to be fed. There's a war in heaven. Okay,
it's a quick timeline.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
you get that from reading the Gospels. Like
Absolutely.
Yeshua was making people ready. He was getting
Sure.
them
I
ready.
mean, all the New Testament is written in such
Yeah.
haste. It's
Yeah.
like you get yourself ready, repent for the kingdom is nigh.
Yeah.
It's not repent for the kingdom is 10,000 years away.
Yeah.
I'm just saying 10,000 because we're 2,000 years removed.
And how do we know it's two?
Yeah, how do we know it's 2? If there's a prophecy for 10, then it's 10,000. It could be 1,000,000 years if there's a prophecy for it. So I just can't find the prophecy for 2,000. So these things were like to happen almost immediately. Like Yahuwah's like, get ready, establish the kingdom in your heart and go and establish it across the world. Because it's going to take a few hundred years and boom, that kingdom's coming. I'm going to destroy all the wicked and you're going to be resurrected in the first resurrection. Anyways, okay. So back to this. Keep reading, I guess.
Verse 23. This is what he said.
Oh, I'm
No,
sorry.
go
I
ahead.
gotta talk about this
Yeah.
in the Gospel of Kaledi.
Let me read it.
Yeah, but I don't know where it's at.
Okay.
Yeah. So just real quick, the Gospel of Kaledi, 13, 14.
It says, Yahushua said, there is the kingdom of the Ruach and the kingdom of the flesh. Yahuwah rules the first himself, but the second he rules through his viceroy, man. But man tries to set himself up as an independent ruler, making his own laws and setting aside those of his king. When the viceroy ceases to rebel and governs in accord with the decrees of the king, that will be the rule of Elohim.
That's amazing.
Amen.
'Cause, yeah.
So good.
So I mean, it says right here in 22, the saints will possess the kingdom. This is the kingdom of the flesh. This is the kingdom here on earth. This is written about in multiple places. We talked about it, Obadiah 1:17, Amos 9:12. It's in Jeremiah, Zechariah 2, Isaiah 11. There's multiple places where it's talked about where he's going to destroy the nations here, and my saints will inherit the waste places. They're going to go around and inherit the waste places. I'm finding so many more verses about what's in Daniel 2 about the seed of the saints. We talked about it in Daniel 2 study where it says the seed will be mixed throughout the world. I actually do believe that's the saints. I mentioned it because it's actually mentioned in Enoch. I mentioned it as a possibility, but also thought, well, maybe it's the Nephilim coming back. But I actually believe it's the saints mixing the seed with the whole world, trying to share the gospel, but also procreating other saints, procreating families.
Future generation.
Yeah, I mean, this is the thing. We're actually commanded to do that, So I believe that they were living holy lives and doing this. But this is so interesting because we expect millennial kingdom is like, Yeshua comes down, he's going to rule everything and make everything perfect. Well, that's not what's prophesied. Yeshua comes down, but he establishes his saints, his set apart ones, to rule and to minister unto man. This is also mentioned in the Ascension of Isaiah.
Okay.
It says, and we've read this before, but I'm just reiterating this. I think it's amazing. And it says, they will descend, talking about the saints, they will descend to be present in the world, and he will strengthen those who have been found in the body together with the saints, in the garments of the saints, and Yahuwah will minister to those who have kept watch in the world. This is verse 17. This is chapter 4, verse 17, Ascension Isaiah, sorry. Verse 17, and afterwards they will turn themselves upward in their garments, and their body will be left in the world. So it says right there, they will minister. They will minister unto man, which I think is incredible, because they were basically coming from Yahweh as messengers, as angels, because 2nd Baruch says they will be changed to the light of the angels, the likeness of angels, so does Enoch. But these saints got to be turned into something and then come down and minister unto man to teach them the ways of Yah, to teach them to follow the commandments.
And I find it interesting too, that video we did with the halos. You know, it's kind of like a glow,
Yes,
a light.
Yeah.
You know, that when you look at old art and old, you know, like tapestries of these saints, even Yahusha, right?
Specifically during the medieval
During-
or the Dark Ages,
Yeah,
whatever.
there is this idea of this kind of glow around them, like this halo,
Yeah.
a sort of effect. I don't know.
And this is also mentioned in the Gospel of Calais. I mean, we posted a bunch of verses on the screen. You know, there's that. I mean, I could do a whole nother video on that because it's like
There's more.
so much more about people just glowing during this time. Okay, but
Okay.
We can keep going.
What verse was I?
23.
Okay. This is what he said. The fourth beast is the fourth rain on earth, which is different from all other rains, and it devours all the earth, tramples it down, and crushes it. And the 10 horns are 10 kings from this reign. They shall rise, and another shall rise after them, and it is different from the first ones, and it humbles 3 kings. And it speaks words against the Most High, and it wears out the set apart ones of the Most High, and it intends to change appointed times and law. And they are given into its hand for a time and times and half a time.
Okay, so you know, this is where like I just read the Apocalypse of Zerubbabel, which he said the 10th king is Titus, is the one who destroyed the temple. You know, and then I read Ascension of Isaiah, and it's telling me the lawless one is Nero. There is this weird thing in Ascension of Isaiah, and I think it's worth mentioning. It's Ascension of Isaiah chapter 4. I always thought this was a typo, but then I read it in multiple versions, and it's chapter 4, verse 4. It says, "This ruler in the form of that king," speaking of Nero, "will come, and there will come, and there will come with him all the powers of this world, and they will hearken unto him in all that he desires." I think it's interesting because it mentions it 3 times. He's going to come 3 times. Now, I like I said, I thought that was a typo.
But like a time,
Yeah,
a half time, like
time and a time
time,
again.
yeah.
So it could be 3 different times of this lawless king coming. We've said this before. Sibylline oracles, many other places actually. It was a common belief that Nero would be resurrected or come out of Sheol, come out of Gehenna, and come back and rule. And I'm seeing it more. I've seen it in 2 places, and I haven't written it down to be able to tell you where.
Yeah.
But 2 places the Antichrist does come back. Because we're told in pre-millennial kingdom that he is burning in the lake of fire, where the devil will be put to. But it appears that he's going to come out of there and come back. So I do think there's a possibility this could be Nimrod. So I'm just throwing out different possibilities here.
Yeah.
We don't really know. I think we might be able to know one day. Just like Millennial Kingdom, if you were Hasatan in short season, you want people to forget Millennial Kingdom, that Yeshua actually reigned and the saints reigned on earth, and you want to forget the scourge of humanity, which is the Antichrist. You want people to forget that he got destroyed by Messiah. And probably even Gog-Magog war too. You could throw that in the bundle, but you would want people to forget about that, and you'd want to write your own history, you know. And so that's why I think it is hard to find.
Yeah.
A lot of people have been like, "Well, where's the Antichrist? And Millennial Kingdom happened. Who's this Antichrist, and where's this mark?" Well, give me a second. You know, give me a few years. I just came up with this, 4 years ago. You know, let me study this out and really see, because it might be revealed. Because like I said, just this past week, something's just blown my mind wide open for this study. But yeah, who is this guy? It is possible it's Nero. It is possible it could be Constantine as well. Constantine could be the false prophet. I've mentioned before that there are 2 Constantines in history. And I'm not sure which is the bad one.
It's almost like a Jekyll and Hyde
Yes.
sort of thing, right?
It's very
Kind of
hard
feels
because, yes.
2 different Constantines.
Yes, there are some things. Actually, in the I think it's in the 7th vision of Daniel. Yes, it's the Arminian 7th vision of Daniel. Constantine is mentioned there as being a righteous king, and his mother Helena. And they went and they took a piece of the cross.
That's right.
They found a piece of the cross. Helena was responsible for rebuilding much of Jerusalem. And probably there's 2 different stories on who built the Church of the Holy Sepulchre. which could actually be where Yeshua is buried. I've always grown up knowing it's in that tomb in the garden, but I actually don't think that's right anymore. I do think that we have 2,000 years of history of people searching for that tomb, and I think they did find it early on. And they actually built a church dome over it with a lead roof.
Yeah. Okay. But you were saying Constantine's mom was basically reestablishing righteousness, so to speak?
Yeah.
Yeah.
She is. She's I think
that's
so.
Pretty
I mean,
incredible.
she wanted everyone to believe in
Yeah.
this son of Elohim who was a Jew.
Mm-hmm.
And to get back to our Jewish roots and to get in there. And you have Constantine, all the old paintings and stuff, he looks like Yeshua.
Mm-hmm.
Whether or not that's a play on maybe an Antichrist kind of figure, I don't know. But he definitely seems to be, especially when we read the creed of Constantine. Yeah. Constantine's creed, I think, if there's some validity to that.
Right.
That's pretty condemning. So, and it definitely seems to go along with 725. Did we read 725?
I did. I didn't know if there's a lot there. So
yeah, I mean,
how you wanted to
this is definitely, we can attribute Rome to all this. Rome and the Holy Roman Empire, the beast who was, who is not, and is again. He came back and is ruled in multiple different facets.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we can definitely attribute to this. They've changed laws. Mm-hmm. We just did a calendar video, and the whole reason we're doing a calendar video on our last video is because of Rome. Yeah. I mean, they changed laws. They
it kind of fits with this.
Yeah. They changed times. What does it say? I think they changed times and laws.
And they are given into its hand. The set apart ones are given into its hand for a time and times and half a time.
Yeah.
Which goes alongside Revelation 12 that we've talked about already, and then.
Yeah, this could be the 1260 days. Yeah. It could be the 3.5 years. Mm-hmm. It could be 171.5 years, which is 3 jubilees and a half a jubilee. It could be, I don't know. I don't know. I really don't. I don't know. There's so many possibilities.
It's okay to say I don't know.
Yeah, there's so many possibilities of how long this time is. Mm-hmm. But definitely, what's y'all saying? I mean, right here, Daniel's saying that, hey, this this guy's going to come. He's a bad dude. The 10th king, Titus, and all these people out of Rome, the saints are being given to them for this amount of time. Mm-hmm. That corresponds with Enoch 93, the perverse generation after the destruction of the temple, after the abomination of desolation, that the saints are given to him. They're given to him to be trodden down. That old serpent, Revelation 12, that serpent goes after those who keep the commandments of Elohim. Yeah. He's going to kill them. He's going to stamp them out across the whole earth, which is what's prophesied about the fourth kingdom. They'll stamp it, bite everything with its iron teeth. Mm-hmm. Okay.
Verse 26, but the judgment shall sit, and they shall take away its rule to cut off and destroy until the end. And the rain...
That happens almost every video. A bird hits our window right here.
It scares me every time. And the reign and the rulership and the greatness of the reigns under all the heavens shall be given to the people, and the set apart ones of the Most High. His reign is an everlasting reign, and all rulership shall serve and obey him. This is the end of the matter. As for me, Daniel, my thoughts greatly alarmed me, and my color changed, and I kept the matter in my heart.
True. This is amazing. I don't even know what to say about this last verse, because
say?
It just goes back to what I first mentioned. Like this week, all the information that we've come across this week has been like, wow, this actually happened.
And to keep the matter in your heart, though. It's kind of echoing, right?
Yeah, like Daniel's like, keep this in your heart. Like, it's incredible. Mm-hmm. I mean, to know that this actually happened, the kingdom and the dominance was given unto them. It says the judgment shall sit, and they shall take away his dominion to consume and destroy it until the end. I do believe this is the destruction of Rome. I think this is when Rome, the fourth beast, was destroyed by fire. Now, we did talk about a couple videos ago about the Rome being the phoenix as well, that it'll come out of the ashes, which it already has, in my opinion. According to 2nd Ezra 13, talking about the phoenix. We read many things about the phoenix, but I do believe this is Rome. I believe it's when Rome was destroyed. And Rome was destroyed by supernatural events that were happening. We read all the time this book, and I'd get it out right now, but we're kind of, I know we probably want to make this one short. Yeah. But there's a book called The Chronological History of Earth, Weather, and Meteors or something like that. Yeah. But it goes through the accounts of things that were happening in Rome and all across the world during this time. It's like The world for about 500-ish years after Messiah was going after saints, going after those who believed in Messiah and those who kept the commandments. They're trying to kill them, trying to get rid of it. And that's how the kingdom begins. Every parable that Yeshua says that the kingdom begins as a little seed, a seed that has to die and get dried up and be put in the ground. And when it stays in there in the ground, it brings forth, after winter, it brings forth a shoot, and then after that, boom, it turns into a huge tree where all the birds of the field dwell. I think it's incredible because it's exactly what happened with the kingdom. Yeshua preached the good news of the kingdom, the gospel, and people died for it. People became seeds, little dried out seeds, and actually died and were placed in the ground. And then when they got to come out, the first resurrection before the millennial kingdom, around 500s.
Yeah.
When they got to come out, they established the kingdom. They
Really the first
inherited,
fruits, right?
yeah, they inherited the whole world. The meek shall inherit the earth.
Yeah.
And they got to. I mean, who is more meek than, I know it says Moses is the most meek above all men, but who's more meek than someone who is willing to get burned alive for the words of Messiah? So many stories. Sawn in half, like Isaiah. I've talked about this before, Gospel of Philip. I was just reading that recently, and he's like hanging on the wall by his Achilles tendons. They hung him up on this wall, and he looks across at, is it Barnabas or is it Matthias?
Matthias, maybe?
It might have been Matthias. Matthias is being hung upside down, spread up on this wall too, and he's got nails in his hands and everything. He's hanging there, and they look across from each other, and they smile. They're like looking, they're like smiling. What is more meek than that? And then at the same time, they're watching their sister, Mirami, I think is her name.
Yeah.
She's getting dragged on the ground behind a chariot. And she literally turns into light.
She starts glowing.
Yeah, they say that she looked transparent, and they would see this light in her, and everyone freaked out and said, "Don't touch her, get away from her. She's freaking us out." You know, there's a whole story in that where John shows up. Oh, it's like you could make a movie out of that scene. It's incredible. John shows up, and it's like John's here, and everyone's in awe because John just came. You know, but anyways,
It's powerful.
It's powerful. These people, these saints, thousands of them, gave their life up for Messiah. They saved their life by giving it up. And they gave it completely up to bring on the kingdom. This is why at 500, for whatever reason, the whole world turned to Christianity. Now that's late Christianity. It's not modern day Christianity. Unfortunately, modern Christianity has become lawless. So is modern day Judaism. They've all lost their way. They've all forgotten the Torah of Elohim. And the true testimony to show what he was actually teaching was to be a lawful person, be a lawful citizen of the kingdom. That's what he was teaching. It wasn't lawlessness. It wasn't that you can eat everything. I've made all things clean. You know, he wasn't teaching that. You're not going to go up to the kingdom and eat pork. I'm sorry. That's just not going to happen.
You won't be entered.
No, it's
not going to be in.
It's not at the wedding supper of the Lamb. That table we get to sit down, there's no porks on the menu. I'm sorry. Okay. For those
Sorry,
of y'all.
not sorry.
Yeah, I'm not sorry at all. That stuff's disgusting. But but it's like, I know people are like, oh, we can eat, all things have been made clean now. Or no, there's a priest up there. He has a certain set of rules. He's our high priest, our Melchizedek priest. He's Yeshua Messiah. Okay? And like these things are like he obeys the law completely. But anyways, that's a whole different subject. But
it's important because it's an everlasting reign. It hasn't ceased. I mean, it's not.
Yeah, so this is saying it right here, right?
Yeah, verse 27. His reign is an everlasting reign.
Yeah.
And all rulerships will serve and obey him.
So is that
every knee will bow?
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we have 8 times.
Right now, as of now. Counting as we go.
8 times in Daniel that the kingdom is everlasting forever and ever. It does not end. When we talk about the 1,000-year reign, the millennial kingdom, it's really just the time that Hasatan was chained. Yeshua is ruling right now. He's ruling right now. How does that change our lives? If we know our king is actually ruling right now, he could be right here on this earth. Even if you're believe the millennial kingdom still to happen, he's still ruling.
Yeah.
He sat down on the right hand of the Father to rule all nations with a rod of iron.
Yeah.
I mean, either way, he's still ruling no matter where you believe the millennial kingdom's at. That's incredible to know that our king's here ruling.
So
kind of
beautiful.
means we need to like forget about this world, and that's hard. But I don't know. Here lately, I've just been like, I don't want this world. It's so wicked. Everything you work for in this world is it's corruption. It doesn't matter. The things that matter are those things that can be they're incorruptible. You know, where moths don't eat and rust doesn't, you know, destroy, and thieves don't break in and steal. You know, I would rather set up those treasures up in heaven. You know, and I'm not saying that in a prideful way.
No,
I'm
we're
actually
in this world.
we are, yeah, and I'm not saying it in a prideful way. I'm actually kind of excited because I've never felt so much like this ever. Like it's just like all of a sudden it's like no more. Like stop. This world means nothing, you know. And so, anyways, that's it. Do we keep it? We kept it for 51 minutes. That's good.
Yeah, let's go. Let's hurry up and end it.
Yeah. All right, guys. We'll see y'all on Daniel 8
Next week.
All right. Shalom.
Bye.